Hi, today we're going to show you just how easy it is to install an H2 ionizer next to your sink. If you're looking for an under-sink installation, we have a separate video for that. There's a link in the description below. When we install an ionizer next to the sink, we first have to connect it to the water, and we have two different ways of doing that. We can either connect it directly to the faucet or directly to the cold water line underneath the sink. We're going to show you how to do both. Once the cold water line is hooked up, the installation is pretty much the same. Here we have our mock faucet to show you how to install the diverter valve to your kitchen tap. What we're going to do is remove the aerator, which just unscrews, and replace it with a diverter valve. Sometimes you might need to use an adapter to make it fit just right. We include several, so you're not looking for parts. With the aerator off, we're just going to thread the diverter valve into its place, then remove the small retaining nut on the side of the diverter. Save this. We're going to need it to put over the end of the tubing, then the tubing over the nipple, and then thread this back into place. With the diverter valve in place of the aerator, when water's running through our kitchen sink, if we turn the switch, the water will then be diverted and supplied to the ionizer. We can then turn it back and the water will pour through and operate just like a normal kitchen faucet. Next, we're going to show you how to connect your ionizer directly to the cold water supply. It's just as easy, but it does involve a couple extra steps. The most important of which is we've got to find a way to route the 1/4-inch supply line from under the sink to above the counter where we're going to use our ionizer. It can go through something like a soap dispenser or a sprayer hole, but we are definitely going to need the tube to go from under the sink to above the counter, and however you can make that happen is great. First thing we're going to want to do is turn off the cold water. To do that, turn the sink on cold only, and then turn the valves underneath. You'll know it's off when the water stops running. With that off, we're going to disconnect the supply line from the angle stop. This will just unthread. And then we're going to insert the angle stop adapter in between the angle stop and the supply line. We're not doing anything really except opening the threaded connection and inserting a threaded adapter in between. You may want to use a little bit of Teflon tape, but it's largely unnecessary as all these connections have grommets in. With the angle stop adapter put back in place, we then want to connect the 1/4-inch supply line to the quick connect fitting on the side. A quick connect fitting is also called a push fit, and literally it just pushes into place. You want to push it firmly, then give it a little tug to make sure it's secure. The way these release is there's a small plastic retaining ring called a collet, and if you hold that in, the tubing will slide out. So we always give it a little bit of a tug just to make sure it's secure. Now we want to make sure that the water is turned off to the 1/4-inch supply line. There's a handle and it's an on-off switch, and if it's pointing at this, it means that it's on, and when we turn the water on, water would be supplied to the faucet as well as to our supply line and to the ionizer. If we turn this off, water will only be supplied to the faucet. So with this off, go ahead and turn the water back on. When you hear it start to run above the sink, reach up, turn the faucet off, come back and inspect for leaks. If we see any drops, we're going to want to go ahead and tighten that connection. Once there's no leaks, we're ready to move on to installing the ionizer. Now that we've got our 1/4-inch supply line connected to our water source, we need to connect it to our ionizer. To do this, let's go ahead and lay the ionizer down. There's a couple of plugs we're going to need to remove. One is a quick connect. We've already covered that, but remember to hold the collet into the body of the fitting to slide something out of it. The next is on the acidic elbow. There's just a cover that will come right off. We're going to take our 1/4-inch supply line and plug it into the tap water in. Again, with all quick connects, give it a tug to make sure it's secure. We're then going to take the acidic drain line and the attached hose clamp. These are pretty tough. You might use a set of pliers. It's going to go ahead and slide over that end and then put the clamp in place, and we are good. I'm going to stand this up, remove the third and final plug from the top spout, and install the stainless steel flexible hose. This just screws in. Now we're ready to plug this in, turn the water on, and start using the ionizer. Hey folks, thanks for following along and seeing just how easy it is to install an H2 series ionizer. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We have technicians standing by that would love to answer any questions you have. For a more detailed description of the parts we used and how we used them, please refer to your owner's manual. In addition, there's resources in the description below that will take you to links on how to use your ionizer and a much more in-depth and detailed version of how to install. Thank you so much.